I'm Lex.
And I'm Tay.
And this is our take on college. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Well, I don't even know how to start, really. Kind of weird. Not weird, but like different to be back, especially after being gone. As we mentioned on the Instagram, I didn't do a really good job of putting it out there on social media as far as like our podcast network goes. But I was out of the country last week on family vacation, essentially. I use fall break is, it was like a 3-day weekend. It was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because we got out of after we got out of class on Thursday, it was like Thursday night. But it's like, okay, I mean, I don't really think that made any difference because they could still be like, oh, class, and then you have all Friday off. Like it was a 3-day weekend essentially. And so I was actually gone that entire week. We went on a Carnival cruise and we stopped in the Bahamas, the Dominican Republic, and Turks and Caicos. And I had a wonderful time with my family. I don't think that I am a cruise person. I think I learned that very quickly. At least not that specific cruise line. Like no hate to them. It just was very much like kiddie. And since I have a 5-year-old little sister, I think that made sense. There were a lot of great aspects to it. But if we were to go again, we discussed going on a European line, which is very different and a little bit more upscale, I guess, but like still had a lot of things for you to do, obviously, because you're on a cruise and they have a lot of fun things. It just, Carnival was not for me, so to say. But I still had a great time with my family, did a lot of really cool things. But it's nice to be back in the studio. And with that, I want to apologize because it was my fault that the episode didn't get out until late with Skylar, our part 2. We were very excited about that episode, and I wanted to make sure, as well as Taylor, that the episode was done justice so that, it was portrayed the way that it needed to be. And so taking the extra time to make sure that the edits were right and that all of the wording for everything came across the right way, I'm glad that we decided to kind of wait to push it out this past Tuesday instead of last Thursday. But with that, today's episode is kind of just a check-in, and we're going to kind of just like a fall check-in, some vibes. Really proud about my outfit today. You can't really see it that much on YouTube with the video, but I have a wool sweater from the Universal Harry Potter world. It's a Molly Weasley jumper with an F because Fred Weasley is the love of my life. So just kidding. My boyfriend is. But my favorite fictional character from the world of Harry Potter is Fred Weasley. And that's why I have this on. Some jeans and one of my roommates' pairs of shoes. But yeah, that's kind of what the episode is about today. So Tay, let's get started.
Yeah, so Lexi is the Harry Potter kind of fall. And personally, I'm the Twilight kind of fall. So, I mean, that's besides, homework, because I unfortunately had a project that was worth, I think, like 40% of my grade due over fall break. So then it was like, I'm not even going to go home. I'm not. I'm just going to do this project, and then I'm just going to watch Twilight, and then I'm just going to live my best life, because it's not worth it driving home and not being able to hang out with my family and sitting there and like doing work the whole time. So I stayed up here, but it was still fun though. So good and all.
Yeah, sorry. I just cut you off there. I didn't mean to do that with the roadcaster, but that's good, because I like at first thought you had gone home and then realized that you hadn't gone home, but I didn't know it was 40%. That's crazy. That's another thing. I feel like a lot of the times people like always talk about midterms, and that's obviously a huge thing in college. I don't have midterms, and yeah, Taylor's looking at me like I'm crazy. As a media student, I feel like there are some classes in the media school depending on like your major, but as a sports media major, we are just very relaxed. Like really relaxed because the classes we take are just very like niche. So the professors are like, we're just going to take quizzes or tests or whatever on. Yeah. Taylor's freaking out. We have a lot of projects. I will say that it's a lot of project based work. But as far as like exams go, it's kind of just like blocked exams, not like midterm and final. So, yeah, no, I couldn't imagine that. I'm really sorry. That sucks. But I think also we're kind of just going to talk about like how we're doing. I got some really great news today. I'm not going to share that just yet. I just want everyone to know that there is some cool stuff going on right now in my personal life. And it was just kind of nice because I had a really rough day yesterday, and Taylor knows this. I literally called her and my parents crying. There was just a lot going on with like friends and living situations as well as extracurricular activities. Like it kind of all just like piled on at once. And I, just was having a really hard time dealing with it. Like I was at fault for some things, and I needed to like get the slap across the face of like, wake up and make sure that you're, realizing that it's not a one-way street. There, are two ways with different things going on. And I just was having a very difficult time, I guess, adjusting, especially since I got back and being gone for a week. I was just having a really difficult time. And but I can't say more than that, really. It was just a bad day. And so I got up today, went to all my classes, had a cute outfit on, but then got that news, which I'm very excited for. So as far as that goes, I mean, there's not really much new to report on besides just really excited for the season. I feel like I think Taylor and I talked about it a little bit, but I know I've talked about it with some other friends. I feel like this is the first time in a really long time that we're actually starting to see the changing of the leaves, and that like fall is actually happening somewhat on schedule. It's still, we were like 69 degrees today. I'm like, okay, it could be a little cooler because that's like the 70, trying to wear a sweater and jeans. Like it's like, oh, because it's been like freezing every other day, but like in a good way. So, yeah, the changing of the weather and like the leaves, it kind of like actually feels like fall. It's not barren for like months on end, and then all of a sudden the snow comes at a really late time. So I'm really excited about that, and we'll kind of talk a little bit more about like our fall going forward. But Tay, yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I unfortunately had 4 midterms and a big project, but that just shows you like how different things are just based off of like your major and things like that. Because like Lexi said, hers really is more like creativity and like project based, and then mine's like write a case brief, do this, what are the facts, what are my issues, like, and then test because you're like getting force fed all this information and they want to see if you've retained any of it. But yeah, I mean, everything else besides that has been like really good. That went really well for me. Yeah. Got a 100 on my psych quiz today. So, I mean, that's turning itself around. Developmental psych has been a journey. We'll say that is for the least. But yeah, so besides that, for me, it's been pretty good. So
that's good. I know that we've talked about that a couple of times. Like Taylor and I both have psych minors. So, we have a little bit of flexibility as far as like classes go that we like pick. And I now know for the future that developmental psych is not a class that I am going to take to complete that minor. But I'm proud of Tay. You've done a really good job and keeping on with that because I know it's been difficult. But yeah, like I said, today is kind of just going to be like a little fireside chat. Like we're just hanging out. And so it's something that Taylor and I have been wanting to talk about because we will probably have a hot take episode way in the future to kind of like piggyback off of part 1. But this is something that we've kind of been wanting to talk about. And oh my God, I'm really excited, guys. As a woman in sports and, kind of like sports business and media, a really big topic right now is Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. And I am all for it, to be honest. I think some people kind of think it's weird. Some people are like, oh, it's like a PR ploy, like whatever. I personally think that Taylor Swift is a real baddie for like dating an NFL player, especially Travis Kelce, because that man is so fine. Like, yes, like 110% would have been one of my top picks for her to date in the NFL. So very grateful that that happened, because now, as someone who enjoys watching football, you know, literally every week with either like Taylor or my family, now I get to have a little sprinkle of T Swift on there every once in a while. So that just makes my life a whole lot better. I know Taylor has a lot that she wants to add, so I'm going to let Taylor talk about her feelings on this.
Okay, so personally, Trailer, as their ship is called, that's my Roman Empire. Just because of, like, I don't know, you open TikTok and that's all it is. You turn on Thursday Night Football or football on Sunday and there's Taylor Swift. And then you're like, what is Mother doing here? Okay. So some Taylor Swift fans refer to Taylor as Mother, and then it's like Mother and Mom's boyfriend, right? So you turn on the TV and it's like, oh my God, it's Taylor. And then so many people are like, it's PR, it's this. And then I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, so you see the very recent, they're from this weekend, the Pat photos of them leaving, I think it was like SNL and then like some dinner. And he's like holding her hand the whole time and she's wearing heels. And then like you sit there and you're like, as a Taylor fan, you listen to like lyrics and things like that. And one of her most famous lyrics is like, you drop my hand while dancing. And like he's always holding her hand. Like he will be holding her hand with both hands at sometimes, like switching hands. Like he never lets her hand drop ever. And like Swifties are eating that up. And then she gets to wear her heels because she's not dating short little British guys anymore. Like queen. And there was a video going around where it was like them just casually walking to the car, right? Versus the videos of her and Joe Alwyn, and he is dragging her running full speed, hoods up to this car, and she like falls, like because he's dragging her and he doesn't want to get snapped by a paparazzi picture. And like Travis just doesn't care. He just lets Taylor be Taylor. And I think that's just because they're both on like an equal level of just like famousness, that where it's like there's no competition, and they're two completely different demographics. So like with Lexi said, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, top pick that she would date because there's no competition there and they can just like have a normal relationship.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. When people like say that it's a PR story, especially from a media student perspective, like obviously the NFL benefits from the fact that Taylor Swift is coming to their games, whether or not she's with Travis Kelce. But there are so many other factors that go into that. That's like, sure, she'd maybe like gaining an audience that primarily watches football and didn't know who she was or didn't listen to her music. And now all of a sudden she has more followers, more listeners. But she is literally the biggest superstar on the planet right now. Like there are so many other women vocalists and stuff that are huge and are always like Rihanna and Beyonce, like, and so many other like famous artists, but she just like dominates all the time. Like there was a saying that my integrated marketing communications teacher said a couple days ago, and he literally was like, 70% of the work that you will put out into the universe will be bad, like just straight up bad. 20% will be good, and then just a minute 10 will actually be great. And he said, except for Taylor Swift, because you know, obviously when she was younger, starting to put stuff out, maybe it didn't get the traction, but she has grown, and just anything she drops, because she works so hard on it. Like she is we also forget Taylor is literally in her 30s. Let the woman live. Like, I'm sorry, but like for the men out there that don't know this, Taylor is really almost on the tail end of her prime age to have kids. So if she is like wanting to date an NFL player and be like, you know what, I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of letting my partners like dictate whether or not I can be in the media or just like living my life because other people's opinions, like screw that. Like who cares? Let her do her own thing. And same with Travis Kelce. Like they're respecting each other's privacy while also being like, I mean, we can't really hide it. Like, if she's going to be there, people are going to know. And same with him. Like, they're just on that level of superstardom that you can't really hide it. And like, for Joe to literally cover them up in hoods and run, it's like, you're honestly really dumb, because everyone knows who that is and knows who you are. So like, just to do that it gives you bad PR. But anyway, I just think it's so interesting when people say that. But I'm like, you have to understand that, like, I personally don't, and I could be wrong. And you know what? That's fine. But I personally want to believe that this isn't PR. And I want to think, honestly, like, genuinely, it would be the coolest couple of all time. Like, I would love for them to get married. I would love for them to have kids. I know it's brand new, but like, stop. Like, their kids would be so cute. And it's just like, it makes me happy because they've both obviously have had really hard dating pasts and stuff. So it would just be really cool to me, because I feel like they are just on like a level of wholesome, like Taylor was saying, like the fact that he's attentive to, you know, he's kind of a Swiftie and he listens to like what she wants and looks for in a guy. And the fact that, you know, he obviously was joking around at the beginning because, I mean, it's kind of hard to hide, but like was still very respectful of her and didn't give out any details of like really anything, shows you that like they're trying to figure things out, and they should just be respected as like a couple anyways, because they're living their own lives and they're two people that just have jobs that have put them in the stratosphere of stardom. So like, let them live. Like, that's all I have to say on that. Like, I love it. I'm here for it. I really need to see her next November. And if I don't, I think I might throw myself off a building. I'm kidding. I won't do that. But I would be very upset. But anyways, that's like kind of my thing. I know Taylor probably has a little bit more to give on that, but I absolutely adore them. That's all I have to say.
Okay, like, not to be that person, but like, if you were gonna do, as someone from the NFL, and you're like, oh my gosh, we need a big PR stunt, like, we want Taylor Swift to be spotted with one of our players, right? So you're like, your people are texting her people, and you know, they're presenting the idea, and it's like 6'5" Travis Kelce, like one of the greatest tight ends of all time. Like, okay, PR, but like, really PR? Like, really? Like, would it end up actually being PR? Because like, not to be that person, but I mean, he's attractive. He is. And it's very hard for me to say as a Cincinnati Bengals fan that I support the Chiefs in any way, but like, I'll watch it just to see Taylor, honestly. But I mean, and like what you're saying with like the PR and all that, and just like letting them live, because like any relationship that either of the men are in has been like publicized to the point where it's like, I don't want that anymore. And she wrote a song called Peace. And it's like, would it be enough if I can never give you peace? Because like that was the whole thing where it's like, she can't, and this is a TikTok, I'm literally basically quoting Taylor, but it's like, she can't control paparazzi standing outside of your house, like taking pictures of you, and she can't control what story they're going to run about you. But then she's sitting there and she's like, well, is that enough with like the other things and like you caring about me? Like, is that enough? And then he goes and does an interview and he's literally like, yeah, like I was on top of the world like after the Super Bowl, but like I'm on the top of the world right now. Like, and he's just like, and then he gets asked about paparazzi, and he's like, oh, yeah, like, that comes with it. Like, and he's just so, like, casual about it. He's like, oh, yeah, like, paparazzi, like, what? And then his podcast, I actually, not to be that person, but I'm not bandwagon, but before he started dating Taylor, I did listen to New Heights, which is his podcast with his brother, Jason Kelce. That's just because I grew up around Cincinnati. They were both played for the Bearcats. So, I mean, we knew who they were already. So then it's like, oh, they have a podcast? Like, that's cool. So then I'm like watching that. And then one day he just is like, oh yeah, I went to the Eras tour. And I was like, Travis Kelce went to the Eras tour? And he's like, yeah, I was gonna give her a bracelet with my number on it. And Jason, his brother's like, oh, which number, Travis? Like, your football number? He's like, no. And I was like, okay, here we go. And then it's like, then a video comes out of him making friendship bracelets for the rookies. And it's like, mastermind. Like, he planned that out. Like, you can't tell me. And then a new thing that came out, like, literally today, I think, her backup dancer, one of them, his brother is number 99 on the Chiefs and is very good friends with Travis Kelce. So everybody's sitting there like, how did these two people, like, meet? Well, obviously, there's a direct connection there. So it's like, come on. Like, that's how. And you know, the backup dancer's brother was probably at the Eras Tour watching his brother like dance with Taylor Swift because it's your home stadium. Why wouldn't you go and watch that? So then, you know, it's just things like that. And then everything just keeps coming out and it's all good things and it's all so cute and just so wholesome. And it's just like, they're just genuinely just having a fun time. And I think that all these, I don't want to say men because I'm not attacking like the male genre of like the NFL watching people, but it's just like I don't really think they grasp like how big of a deal like Taylor Swift like actually is. And like I know it was the joke that it was like Taylor Swift put Travis Kelce on the map. Like that's not true like at all. Like he in his own right is like has that stardom. So it's like not even like you can compare them because like it's two totally different things that they do. So then it's like, well, you can't like be like, oh, she put him on the map. And then it's like, oh, who's this Taylor Swift? Like, no, like you have to acknowledge that they're both at the top of their game and they're just like dating and it's cute and it's fun. And so, I mean, we're obviously obsessed with it. We're going to keep tabs on it. So, yeah.
Well, and like my other thing with it was it really goes to show the whole like thing about his mom. Like so many people were like, oh my gosh, like she hates Taylor, blah, 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 blah. And it like if you literally go back and watch it, like if you actually understand facial like expressionism as well as like body language reading, you can see that it's not that she doesn't like her. It's clearly about the fact that she is trying to protect her son, because you also have to remember both of her sons are in the NFL. So imagine the publicity they get as a family already and the fact that her sons played against each other in a Super Bowl. Like, I'm pretty sure she's made a comment on it before. She's like, I don't even, like that's so not a common thing. Like that rarity. Like obviously having a son play in like the NFL / like Super Bowl is not that common, but is more common than like some other things. Like I compete in the Miss America organization and it's more likely that you'll have a son compete in the Super Bowl than you will a daughter compete for Miss America. But you understand what I'm saying is that it's not like really that high of a statistic, but on top of that, to have both of your sons who play for different teams to play each other in a Super Bowl, like that's almost unheard of. So, their family is already like high attention spotlight. Both of her sons are very, very good players, and Travis Kelce is literally in his prime and one of the best of the best. So he's trying to protect her son, and whether or not that has to do with like her feelings towards Taylor, it's really just a mom doing her job, and people need to like back off because it also, Taylor wants a certain amount of privacy as well and has probably expressed that. And I feel like that they would understand because they understand the amount of publicity you get just from doing your job. So I just think that that's crazy to me that people have like really blown that out of proportion, because like if I was his mom, I would have done the same thing, because that's protecting your child. And he more than likely expressed to his mother like, hey, we don't really know what's going on. We've made jokes about, it, but like obviously I don't talk about it. Like, what does he say? Like, hey now, or something like funny. Yeah. So she's just doing her mommy duty. Like people need to leave it alone. That really out of this whole thing is what pisses me off the most, is it's like, stop attacking his mom and stop attacking the situation. Like you're literally a vulture, go away. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's like she went on, was it Good Morning America? Which show was it even? I think it was Good Morning America. But I mean, you're sitting there, both of your children are potential Hall of Fame athletes. Like she wants to talk about her children because she's a proud mama. Like you said, like it's not that she doesn't like her, it's just that that's not her place to speak on it because they haven't defined what their relationship is or isn't. So then it's like, I came on here to talk about things that I know, and like I know my boys. Like that's like similar to something she said. So yeah, definitely did not like Swifties attacking Donna Kelce. But I mean, that's just a mama thing. I don't know why we really grasp that so well. We're like 20 years old, but like we understood that that's just like a mom protecting her kid thing.
Yeah, I just think that they're obviously it's ever evolving, and we're excited to kind of see where it goes. But I think for the rest of the episode, we're kind of just gonna end with talking about the fall and how we're excited and looking forward to things and different plans that we have. As mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I'm a Harry Potter kind of fall and Taylor is a Twilight kind of fall. And I think that that's another part of our friendship that makes it extra special. But, I'm looking forward to curling up with, like, today, like, just for example, like, romanticizing college and life, I feel like definitely should be an episode. You know what? That'll be our episode next week. I feel like talking about, like, that because Emma Chamberlain made a comment on this like a while ago. I know that there is snippets on TikTok that used to float around about her talking about romanticizing life. And I honestly, for the longest time, didn't realize that that was Emma Chamberlain. But life is not going to be pretty all the time, and it's going to become mundane and monotonous, even with people that are, extremely fortunate and in like the top 1% of the world. Like, you really do like have to romanticize your life sometimes, because it just makes you feel better about things that are either in your control or out of your control, and just kind of, I feel like, really helps with having more of a positive outlook on life. Because it can be hard sometimes. Like, it's not going to be like the easiest thing, especially as a college kid. Like, it can be really hard to want to get out of bed and go to class and do all of the important things that we have to do. But for myself, I think I absolutely romanticize college 110%. Like today, the fact that I wore one of my favorite sweaters and I made hot chocolate for myself and took it in my cute little like travel mug. And I got a bag while I was on vacation that I've been using as like my backpack, and kind of just really putting effort into like my outfit on a daily basis, as well as kind of like having like little picture moments that I can like remember throughout the day of like, oh, getting ready this morning, and like just random and cute little things like that. But with like the fall, like cuddling up and reading a good book. Last night when I was putting things away in my day room with my roommates, I put on the classical Fireside thing on Netflix, and I had that going, and then put on a fall jazz cafe playlist on my speaker, and it was just like, it just like made the mood so much better. Vibes. Yeah, vibes. And like just I feel like small things like that are just so beneficial while you're in school, especially being away from family, having to go to class every day. And even I feel like as an adult on the outside world, just having small moments like that just like makes, time more special. So with that, like, I just think that'll be kind of like a thing, watching Harry Potter throughout the season, making a crap ton of hot chocolate, fun snacks. I'm going to a pumpkin patch next week, continuing with my watercolor, maybe changing like the color scheme and stuff like that. But that's kind of like what I want to do this fall, and just take a lot of pictures, videos, and like enjoy campus and my friends. And we need to do a Friendsgiving. We have to do that, stuff like that. But that's kind of like what my fall, I'm hoping, looks like. Tay, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm definitely at a place where like midterms are over now, the big projects are over now, so I can kind of get back into like reading. We have a really cute little bench outside of my apartment, and I was like, I'm gonna go out there and read. I haven't done it yet. That will be on the list to do for tomorrow, but just gonna go out there and just sit and just like look at the leaves and just like enjoy being here. And then, I mean, not that I want fall to really be over, but I mean, we have a very big weekend coming up here at IU. We have on Friday night, my personal favorite, like, event, Hoosier Hysteria. We have that. This is my not my sweatshirt. This is the windbreaker I wore last year. Iconic. That's when I lost my phone at Assembly Hall. We haven't told that story, but that is a story. That was an event. This is from my grandpa. Shout out, Pappy. But yeah, so we have that Friday night in Gucci, Maine. is performing at Hoosier Hysteria. Don't know how I feel about that. Not the biggest Gucci Mane fan, but you know. And then Saturday's homecoming, so that's fun. So we have a very fun-filled fall weekend coming up. So yeah.
Oh, there we are. Yeah, like with that, it is a really big weekend. It's homecoming week at IU, and I think this is kind of like the prime time, obviously, with like a lot of people having midterms being done, and it's just prime season. Like the leaves down here are finally like really taking a long time to change. Like back home, I'll probably insert a picture here on the YouTube if you're watching there, but where I'm from, it is very fall, like in Vermont-esque right now. Like I had a really hard time coming home or like leaving home this past week after getting back, because when we got back to the States, like it just hit me like when we got out of the car at home, how like crisp and fresh the air was, and like the leaves are all changing and the sunsets are just absolutely gorgeous and so much better here in Indiana. I will give us that. But IU is just having like that one thing I was talking about with my Delight girlies on Monday was that campus is having a really rough fall this year. Like I feel like the leaves have not changed as quickly as they should have. The weather's been really funky. Like back home, I feel like today it wasn't even that hot as it was here. It wasn't even hot, but like it was colder home, and I'm only an hour-ish north. Like it's just crazy how different like of an atmosphere it is here. So it's going to be a really good weekend. I am going home and will not be here for the game on Saturday because I have a church event that I am working that I'm very excited for. But yeah, it's just been really weird. Like I feel like fall kind of hit all of the sudden, and it's finally been just like a really pretty and gorgeous fall that I feel like has actually really helped with, for most people I know, like seasonal depression. Like I just feel like as a college student, it's been a very different mindset this year than it was last year. I feel like last year, us at this point in time, we're just dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety, and myself, I know, was dealing with seasonal depression because it just wasn't pretty here. It was very barren, and it was very cold and like bone chilling cold. And then it didn't snow until like the worst part of like really late into the year. And then when it did, it was just like not great. So yeah, that's kind of just how we've been feeling and how we're doing. And I'll let Tay add any last minute thoughts, and then we're gonna wrap it up today, guys.
Yeah, I mean, just it's finally fall, really. It's very weird because my birthday is actually like the first day, quote unquote, first day of fall. We were wearing t-shirts and shorts on my birthday, and we're sitting here like, this is Indiana in the fall. Where is the cold? Like, I want my sweater out. I want my football sweatshirt. I have doesn't say football on it, but like, you know what I mean, like a sweatshirt you wear to the games. But like I want that. Like, where is it? And then finally it hit right at the best time for it to hit, with like homecoming and Hoosier Hysteria and all that fun stuff coming up this weekend. And it's been a very beautiful week here, so I'm very thankful for that. I actually shout out my grandma Tracy. I actually send her pictures of campus like randomly, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, here's the leaves. And she just loves it. And then like 2 weeks ago, she was like, where's the leaves? I was like, girl, I have no idea. Like, I can't see them. And then I sent her a picture, I think it was like Monday, and she's like, yay, leaves finally. I was like, yay, because I have been begging for some color besides like gray. Because like there was that 2 weeks where it was just like gray. And it was like kind of cold, but like not really. And then it was like you're sweating because you've worn too much clothing, and then you've walked forever to get to class, and then it's just like annoying. But like right now it's finally hit like peak time of why I love fall, like why fall's my favorite season. So now it's just like we're chilling and we're good. So yeah.
Well, with that, we're going to end today's kind of little check-in episode. We hope you guys enjoyed. We know it's not like a normally programmed episode, but the last couple of weeks have been really hectic with pre-records as well as trying to get those up. And we are preparing some really fun episodes going forward. We're both looking forward to our Halloween episode that will be dropped on Halloween. So get excited for that. We are very, very, very happy for that one to come out. So we've got some great stuff coming towards you guys in the next couple of weeks. So just keep an eye out. But as always, we love you guys very much. And again, our comments, our DMs, and our Q&A on Spotify is always open. Please let us know if you ever need anything. We are here for you, and we love you very much. With that, I'm Lex.
And I'm Tay.
And this is our take on college.